Hello, guys. I'm Shani Greene-Dowdell, and I've been wanting to start my channel for a while. I just have let life get in the way. I let my writing schedule get in the way. I let everything get in the way. And so today I said, okay, I'm going to do a YouTube video. So, first, let me introduce myself. I'm Shani Greene-Dowdell. I'm an author. I've been an author for 14 years. And well, I should say a published author for 14 years. I started writing my first book in 2005. That book was titled Keeping It Tight, and it has been revised and republished as Never Get Enough. To date, I have 35 titles published on Amazon. Yay! And I'm very excited about that and continuing to grow my writing career. I don't know where it's going to take me, but for the last 14 years, I've learned a lot. I've I think that my stories are much more developed. I've learned a lot about character development, a lot about story development, and just a lot about the industry. So, on my channel, you should be able to learn some of those things from me. And I just want to get into the writing world a little bit. So, I have 10 questions that I'll answer today on my YouTube. Try to do those quickly so that I won't take up all of your time here today. But the first question that I want to answer for readers is most readers are readers first. Who is my favorite author and why? Okay, this is a very tough question because I have one favorite author that's been my fave for a very long time, and that's Darian Lee. I fell in love with her series, All That in a Bag of Chips, and I've read just about everything that she's put on the market. If I haven't read it, it's sitting on my Kindle waiting to be read. She's a very passionate writer. The stories that she writes are very down to earth. And one of the things that sold me on her books were that most of her characters were upward mobile. So upwardly mobile. They were either owner of businesses. They were um, very well-to-do black people, and so that made me just way more interested in her work than as opposed to some of the other books that I had read during the time in the early 2000s. So yeah, Darian Lee, I have to say, still is my fave, even though I have some new favorites in the interracial romance with S.K. Leslie, and M. Renee Allen. So yeah, Darian Lee still. I guess they say your first. Nobody can get better than the first. Okay, so that's my favorite author and why. And the next one is, did you know you were going to be a writer at an early age? No, I did not know I was going to be a writer at an early age. I was interested in writing because I think it was my fifth grade teacher. She had us do a play, and I thought it was interesting to put the play together, but and write the play. But I had no idea that this was what I wanted to do. So I'm not one of those people who can say, yeah, from the first time mom put a pen in in my hand, I knew this was for me. I did not know. I didn't find out that this was something I really wanted to do until I was in my late 20s. Okay. What do you like the most about writing? What I like the most is that you can create a world just from your mind. Like when I sit down and I really start digging into my characters and digging into their backgrounds and what makes them who they are, and start fleshing them out and putting some meat and bones on them, I get amazed every time because it's like I created this. This is some people that I made, a life, a world, and a situation that I made. And I think that's the most fascinating part about writing. Number four is, what's the title of your first book and what motivated you to write that particular story? Okay, my first book is called Keeping It Tight. And what motivated me to write that story was this was back in the early 2000s, well, mid 2000s, because it was 2005. But from about 1995 until 2005, when I decided to write that book, there was a lot of, I guess, social media was starting to get its ground, and I was seeing a lot of men talk about that they would rather have a white woman than a black woman, um, because black women are XYZ and white women are XYZ. And I was like, you know what? I'm over it. Let me just write a story and talk about race in the book. So really, the characters and their lives was just to supplement my rant about race, and it turned into interracial romance drama. So yeah, that's why I wrote the first book and the name of the book. Okay, your latest series or book is Renegade is the latest book, and it's a part of the Bad Boys of the Military series. Has been making waves. Tell us a little bit about that book. Well, Renegade is about a girl who is a young girl. She's like 24, and she has an attraction to a guy who's 15 years older than her. The whole series is about heroes, guys who come in and save the day for their girls, mainly from stalkers. So yeah, every girl in this book series has a stalker. First, there's Sharice, then there's Malaysia, and then there's Athena. So in those, the story is all about a damsel in distress who is not really your typical damsel who's like, I can take up care of myself, but a guy from the military, different, well, all of them are Marines guys, but different guys who come in and say, hey, no, you don't have to be alone because I'm that guy, I'm a hero, and I can take care of you in your in this guy problem that you have, and they take care of it. Trust me. Okay, number six is what is my writing goal for 2021? Well, I took my writing schedule and changed some things. I had a goal to get about 12 books out this year, but this year I'm putting quality over quantity. So I'm trying to at least get two or three quality novels out. And when I say quality, I mean longer lived, fully fleshed out stories. And I want to submit to a publisher again and work with a publisher. So that's going to be something that I want to do in 2021. So we'll see. Um, number seven, how did how do you stay motivated to get all of this accomplished? Well, one motivator is financial because this is my sole income, so I have to keep my writing going at some type of pace. I have to promote my older works. I have to write new works, and so that's one of my main motivators to keep me going. Another motivator is just to be able to sit down and get immersed into the story because most writers will understand this. There's a point in the story where you know that you've connected with the story and that you've gotten everything going. Because when you first start writing the story, it's kind of like getting it's like pulling out the pots and pans and getting everything ready to prepare dinner, and then you get to a certain groove, and when you start slicing up those onions or the vegetables and all of that, that's the beginning. But when you start combining everything and it starts making that aroma and it starts smelling good, you're like, okay, I got something going right here. So every author knows that feeling when you get to the part where it's like, okay, I got something going here. So that is another motivator when I can get to that because I'm wanting to get to that point where I know, oh, I have a good story. And one thing I've learned is that once I finish a story, that's just the first draft. So even though I may have that good feeling and I stay motivated, I still have some more work to do on the story. And we'll talk a little bit in future videos about um, the different stages of writing as far as like the draft, the rewrite, the rewrite, the rewrite, the rewrite. So, number eight, what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind? Wow, this is something I've thought about a lot. I've thought about what I'm actually writing in my stories. When I first started, I just wrote what I wanted to, and it was just simply for entertainment purposes. But as of late, I've been thinking about what do I really want to leave behind in these stories when and if someone picks up a story in 2050, what do I want them them to take from my story. So I think that in future works, maybe not some of the most recent things that I'm working on, but in future works, maybe over the next 2 or 3 years, you might start seeing something with a little deeper plot. I do also try to leave in now something that speaks to the situation that we're in. Like if it's a hurricane, I may talk about the hurricane of the time, so that when someone goes back and reads one of my stories, they can get a glimpse into what was going on, in the world at that time. So yeah, the legacy that I would like to leave behind is one of very thoughtful, entertaining literature. So the last question is one that I love, and I know you're gonna love it too. Is where can my books be found? All of my books can be found on Amazon.com. You can also go to my website www.shani Green, Greene, Dowdell, Dowdell.com. And you can find all of my books there. I got a little confused because I used to have another website, but my most recent website is just my name, ShanaGreene-Dowdell.com. And this has been a nice talk. I've enjoyed it, and I didn't think it would be this easy to come and talk and share with you guys here on YouTube, but it really has been. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, just continue to enjoy the literature and get lit. Okay, get lit.